What if the brand you trust most is the one quietly putting you in danger? Walmart's shelves project an image of comfort, savings, and safety. But how much of that is actually true? Over the past 2 years, FDA recalls linked to canned goods have surged by more than 30%. Hidden behind colorful labels are threats like lead, shards of glass, and even botulism. Despite these dangers, these cans continue to sell, because people assume pantry staples are safe by default. But how many meals have you consumed, assuming that cheap equals harmless? How many times have you unknowingly fed your family something that could be poisoning them, one spoonful at a time? This isn't paranoia. It's reality. Today, we expose 7 canned food products from Walmart that are not just poor choices, they're silent threats capable of stealing more than just your money. This is the Downturn Report, where uncovering the truth gets personal. And after this, you might never walk down a canned goods aisle the same way again. 1. Yellowstone baked beans. First on the list is Yellowstone baked beans. The product is dressed up like a campfire classic, with sweet brown sugar, molasses, and thick-cut beans, and packaged in a rugged-looking label that evokes rustic Americana. It's the kind of imagery that might lead you to believe the recipe came straight from a cowboy's chuck wagon. Sold for under $1, it appears to offer hearty comfort and old-fashioned simplicity. You might see it on your shelf and think of it as dependable, something that feels as sturdy and enduring as an old family thermos. But in May 2025, the FDA issued a severe warning. Over 4,500 cases of Yellowstone brown sugar molasses baked beans were recalled under a Class 1 notice, the most serious kind. This wasn't a misprint or minor issue. The recall was due to the manufacturer, Vieti Food Group, failing to disclose soy as an ingredient. There was no label warning. For someone with a soy allergy, that omission is not just dangerous, it's life-threatening. A single bite could trigger hives, throat swelling, or full-blown anaphylaxis. Forgetting to list a top 9 allergen is equivalent to a mechanic forgetting the brakes. What's worse is that the label offered a false sense of security. It wasn't just an attractive design, it was a sales pitch for nostalgia and trust. But nostalgia doesn't protect you from allergic reactions. A vintage-looking label can't stop someone from collapsing on their kitchen floor. And this wasn't a small-scale issue. These beans were distributed in 23 states, including Florida, Texas, Ohio, and New York, through major retailers like Walmart, Kroger, and Safeway. Even more disturbing is how the recall came about. It wasn't initiated by the manufacturer. It was only after the FDA identified the problem that the cans were pulled. That's like installing a smoke detector that only sounds after the house has already burned down. To put it into perspective, 4,515 cases, each containing 12 cans. That's over 54,000 cans of potential hazard in homes across the country. Beyond allergens, these beans are also loaded with sugar and molasses, making them more of a dessert than a side dish for anyone managing diabetes, high blood pressure, or cholesterol. This isn't just a case of poor nutrition. It's a calculated illusion. Companies market cowboy food as wholesome while cutting corners behind the scenes. They borrow the image of American grit, but when it's time to actually protect Americans, they crumble under pressure. That label with Barnes and Boots? It might as well say, "Caution, may contain betrayal." If you're looking for a safer alternative, consider plain canned beans from brands like Bush's or Eden Foods. They offer better labeling, safer allergen protocols, and ingredients you can actually pronounce. Forget the cowboy fantasy. Choose peace of mind. 2. Canned tuna. Next up is canned tuna, something most people buy without a second thought. A small, sealed can, usually under $2, that promises lean protein, long shelf life, and zero prep. It's a staple for lunches, salads, or quick dinners. But in February 2025, that convenient tin became a hidden danger. Tri-Union Seafoods issued a voluntary recall of thousands of tuna cans sold under brands like Geneva, Van Camp's, and Trader Joe's. These weren't obscure products from niche stores. They were sold across at least 26 states, possibly more, in major retailers like Walmart, Costco, and others. The danger came from a defect in the easy open pull tab that compromised the seal. That breach opened the door to something deadly, Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism. It's a rare but deadly illness that can lead to blurred vision, drooping eyelids, respiratory failure, paralysis, and even death. This wasn't just a defect. It turned a supposedly helpful feature into a possible death trap. That friendly pull tab meant to make your life easier? It became the weakest link, akin to buying a car with a seatbelt that snaps in a crash. Even worse, TriUnion didn't catch the issue themselves. The alert came from a supplier. The company acted not out of concern, but because they had to. No illnesses were officially reported, but that doesn't guarantee safety. Some people may have brushed off symptoms, unaware that their tuna could have been the cause. This impacts vulnerable populations the most, those who rely on canned tuna for affordable protein. It's not a luxury food. It's a working-class staple. For retirees, widows, and budget-conscious families, this isn't just an item, it's a lifeline. Even the branding, calm waves and clean fonts, projected trust. But behind it was a serious failure. This was not seed to table, it was corporate negligence dressed in shiny metal. If you've got a can from Geneva, Van Camp's, or Trader Joe's, check the code. Don't taste it, don't test it, just throw it away. Your life is worth more than a cheap sandwich. For safer options, consider vacuum-sealed pouches or tuna brands that adhere to stricter safety standards. Spend a little more, and buy something that gives you certainty, not just convenience. 3. Great value green beans. At first glance, great value cut green beans seem safe. Rows of simple green labeled cans sit quietly on the shelf, offering an easy, affordable side dish. Just heat, season, and serve. For older shoppers, especially those on tight budgets, it feels like a smart choice. Low cost, low effort, and a healthy nod to vegetables. But in March 2025, the FDA issued a Class 2 recall on nearly 200,000 cans of green beans. Not from Walmart, but from Target's Good and Gather label. Why does that matter? Because many store-brand canned goods come from the same factories, using the same machinery, and are handled by the same suppliers. A single fault in one line can ripple across an entire industry. Inside some of those cans? Foreign objects. That's the FDA's official term. Translated: metal, plastic, or even glass shards. This turns an everyday vegetable into a real threat. These weren't gourmet products. They were mass-produced, budget-friendly cans distributed nationwide. This isn't hypothetical. Shards in food can slice gums, damage internal organs, and send vulnerable people, especially the elderly, to the earth. Worse still, the best-by date on those cans read October 2026. That's 2 more years of false security. In lower-income communities, voluntary recalls often go unnoticed. Products linger on shelves. Staffing shortages and weak oversight mean those recalled cans may still be there. People shopping with food stamps or social security checks may never be aware of the danger until it's too late. Online communities picked up on it. One Reddit user warned, "Walmart just got hit too. Don't eat green beans unless you're sure they're safe." That wasn't an exaggeration, it was genuine concern. Picture this. Mrs. Lee, a retired teacher in Ohio, warms a can of green beans for dinner. One bite later, she's bleeding and confused. By morning, she's in urgent care. Not because of bad cooking, but because the food she trusted betrayed her. There's no smell or taste to warn you. You can't sniff out glass. You can't feel plastic until it's lodged in your mouth. These are quiet injuries. Often dismissed. Rarely reported. So, if you've got any store-brand canned vegetables, especially green beans, inspect them carefully. Better yet, switch to frozen vegetables. Flash frozen products are subject to stricter inspections. Or go with brands like Del Monte, known for higher safety standards. It costs a bit more, but your health is worth it. Remember, not every hug is safe. Some cans might smile at you from the shelf, But behind that label could be real danger. Walmart's Great Value whole kernel corn might seem like a trustworthy pantry staple. With its bright yellow label and sunny image of golden kernels, it evokes a sense of nostalgia, a reminder of simpler meals and affordable comfort. It's cheap, quick, and convenient, especially for working families and retirees on fixed incomes. At under $1 a can, it feels like a safe and familiar option. But for many consumers, that sense of safety is starting to fade. Across online forums, product review pages, and consumer reports, disturbing patterns are emerging. Numerous buyers describe an unpleasant chemical or plastic-like taste, some comparing it to a vinyl shower curtain or noting a lingering bitter aftertaste. These aren't simply matters of preference. They raise serious concerns about contamination. In many cases, such flavors result from packaging breakdowns, faulty can linings, or exposure to industrial materials like BPA, machine oil, or low-grade sealants during processing. In 2024, one independent food safety group found that a sample of Great Value canned corn contained elevated levels of lead, just under the FDA's action threshold. But just under doesn't mean it's safe. Lead exposure accumulates over time, especially in vulnerable groups like the elderly, and can contribute to high blood pressure, kidney issues, and cognitive decline. What's more troubling is that there has been no major recall or public disclosure about these concerns. It's left up to consumers, especially those with fewer options, to take a gamble each time they reach for this supposedly innocent product. Rather than risking your health, it's better to opt for frozen corn from brands like Green Giant or Kroger's Simple Truth Organic, or choose canned alternatives from Eden Organic or Del Monte, which offer greater transparency and safety. Next, we have Great Value pear halves in heavy syrup. On the surface, it looks like an easy and sweet treat, especially for seniors or individuals without regular access to fresh fruit. The pears look soft, sugary, and comforting. But beneath the syrupy coating lies a deeper danger. In December 2023, the FDA issued a recall of certain batches of Great Value pears after detecting dangerously high levels of lead, up to 0.10 milligrams per kilogram, which is nearly twice the acceptable federal limit. That translates to roughly 40 micrograms of lead per can, when the weekly tolerable limit is only 25 micrograms for adults. Consuming just one serving could push someone well over the safety threshold. For children or pregnant women, the consequences could be even more severe, ranging from irreversible brain damage to developmental delays. The danger is compounded by the fact that the sweet syrup masks any warning signs, like metallic taste or odd texture, making it all too easy for the toxic exposure to go unnoticed. Although Walmart quickly removed affected batches from shelves, they did so quietly, with little public awareness. That quietness is what worries many shoppers. If one batch was contaminated, what safeguards are in place to prevent it from happening again? The problem often lies in the source. Pears are frequently imported from regions with lead-contaminated soil. When paired with acidic syrup and stored in low-grade canned linings, lead and other chemicals can leach directly into the fruit. For a safer alternative, opt for fresh pears when available, or try brands like Dole or Del Monte that use safer processing methods and clear labeling. Then there's Great Value chili with beans, often a go-to meal for those looking for something cheap, filling, and warm. It's a favorite among students, seniors, and anyone seeking comfort food on a budget. But reports about this product have taken a disturbing turn. In late 2024, numerous consumer complaints surfaced, describing the chili as having a flavor that resembled lighter fluid or spoiled dog food. Some even reported a burning sensation in their throat or teeth chipping encounters with undercooked beans. These aren't exaggerated rants, they're clear indicators of serious quality control problems. Such issues may result from poor sterilization during canning, machinery contamination, or improperly cooked ingredients. In addition to the foul taste and texture, food watchdog organizations detected lead levels of 0.03 milligrams per kilogram in some cans of Great Value chili. While technically still under the federal recall limit, the cumulative risk from repeated consumption can be significant, especially for older adults or those with pre-existing health conditions. Even worse, Walmart offers no transparency about the origin of the meat or the sourcing of the spices and beans. In an era when consumers want to know what's in their food and where it came from, Great Value offers no answers, only silence. For just a few extra dollars, safer and healthier alternatives are available, such as Amy's Organic Chili or Hormel's Natural Choice line. These brands emphasize real ingredients, ethical sourcing, and transparency, offering peace of mind with every bite. Ultimately, the truth is simple. Just because a can is cheap doesn't mean it's safe. Behind every low price tag can lie hidden risks, toxic metals, industrial chemicals, or neglected safety protocols. For seniors, low-income families, or anyone with health concerns, these aren't just minor inconveniences, they're real dangers. Every can of food should come with peace of mind, not the silent worry of what might be lurking inside. Before reaching for another Great Value product, ask yourself, is saving $1 today worth risking your health tomorrow?